Yesterday we got our second snapshot of the Minecraft 1.15 update, and on this very same day I hit 1 million subscribers here on YouTube. I had waited all day and then I decided, hey, I'm going to release my journey to 1 million subscribers video, and then I'm going to do a special live stream to celebrate. And of course Mojang released the snapshot after I've made the announcement to go live, so I was committed. I couldn't cover the snapshot video, and yes, that is the next thumbnail for Hermitcraft, and it does look interesting, doesn't it? So yesterday we got 19w35a, and this comes with a really big announcement. So Minecraft 1.15 will be the Bees and Bugs update. That is not an official name, this is not an official logo, but it will be coming out before the end of the year according to this text. Last week we brought you the bees, and a lot of you have all been asking us what the entire update will be themed around. Well, bees are one half of it, the other half is bugs. We want to take things a little slower this update and get things right. So from now until the end of the year, we are committed to bringing you all a better Minecraft experience with less bugs and more frames. So Mojang, the company that develops Minecraft, have a track record of announcing big updates at Minecon Earth. They did it with 1.13, they did it with 1.14, and I believe at the end of September we're going to hear about 1.16, because they've also said they want to put out two major updates for Minecraft a year. We've had 1.14, and now we've learned today that they want to put out 1.15, the Bees and Bugs update as I'm calling it, before the end of this year. So I believe at Minecon we're going to learn about 1.16. So let's get into the changes to the bees. First of all, these nests you see to my side are going to be rarer. And I've heard other YouTubers commenting on how this can only be found in certain biomes, and Tiger is not one of those biomes. However, I've been able to find these nests in the biome, but anyway, these are supposed to be rarer, and they will also not generate if there is a block blocking the entrance, which is this side right here. So if you've got a block there, it's not going to generate. I thought I'd also mention it as possible to get these bees nests by growing trees alone, but that's not possible in this snapshot. So I started off by growing them with bone meal, and I didn't get any for quite some time, and then I sped up the game ticks so you can see the trees grow really quickly. You can't get it either of these ways now, so you can only find bees nests out in the wild, and you can't generate them yourselves by using bone meal or growing trees. At first I was a little disappointed, but I think that's a good decision actually, because then you've got to go adventuring to get your nests. Otherwise, you know, once you've got a bone meal farm, you can pretty much get infinite nests wherever you like. Bees will now try to avoid water. If I summon a bee in one deep water, they seem to get themselves out of trouble. However, as soon as you go down to 2 deep, they basically freeze on the spot, and then eventually they will drown and die, which is real unfortunate. It's very strange how they stop moving, and I think this might be a bug that needs to be addressed. But a good way of seeing the behavior of the bee avoiding water is by putting it in the middle here, and notice how it flies out and doesn't go through the sides of the water. If I put a bee on the side, it swims into the air block and then makes its way out again, which is kind of intelligent, right? Although this time they're taking an alternate route, but yes, they make their way away from the water now. There are a few more changes related to bees. First of all, the advancement known as 2x2 for breeding all the animals didn't include the bees. Doesn't it seem that every time they add a new mob, they forget to put them into the advancements? Bees were also able to pollinate from the bottom half of a flower. As you can see, this bee is basically focusing on the top part. So their pollen timer that they have in their MPT data is only going to tick upwards when they're in the top half of a 2-tall flower. And apparently a bee's hitbox wasn't properly centered on it. If we press F3 and B, you can see it does actually now appear closer to the bee itself, but it's still bigger than the bee, and the bee kind of animates and the box shape doesn't follow it, which is interesting, but it has been adjusted. There is a bug here that hasn't been fixed. If you put bottles into a hive that's full of honey, it will actually keep giving you honey bottles, even though this thing is now empty. The honey bottle was also not included in the advancement a balanced diet, which is for eating every type of food in the game. And if you wasn't aware, the honey bottle can actually be consumed when you have a full bar of hunger, and then it will give you full saturation, which I think is something no other food in this game does. So this is pretty awesome for PvP and for just playing Minecraft in general. Oh yes, beehives are now flammable. Let's see if we can set this thing on fire. Yep, there it goes. So it's now a flammable block. There is one other considered feature in this snapshot, and that is being able to kick villager out of the bed just by right clicking on it, and then that will enable you, the player, to sleep in the bed if you so desire. Another adjustment related to villagers, they have this little buckle on their belt that tells you what level they are. The Nitwit doesn't have one of these. It's now been removed. You can see there's no buckle on the belt. And that makes total sense because this guy doesn't trade. And now we're in the end dimension on 1.14.4. This is so I can show you a bug that will be removed in 1.15. It's a sad day to see this go. It's been in the game for a long time, but it is super cheaty, and there is no surprise it is getting removed. So if I put a water bucket into a dispenser, we can actually remove, if I click in the right space, the end portal itself. Now you can see that that bit of end portal has been destroyed. This can of course be exploited like I've done on the Hermitcraft series to remove these portals and then use the bedrock here as a wither cage for creating another sort of farm. That will no longer be possible. There are some refinements to Enderman here in the end dimension, and it's very interesting because Enderman are not going to teleport to waterlogged blocks. So I was doing some experimenting and I found out that they can actually spawn on these. So one of my first thoughts was that you could use this as a walking platform, and I wanted to do a test to see if they would teleport from one side to the other, but it appears that they already can spawn there, so maybe that's not as useful as it first sounds. If you happen to kill an Enderman and by doing so it lands in water, then it will teleport away, and when it does so the player wouldn't get any XP or loot. This is a bug that's been fixed, of course. That sound that you're hearing right now, that's the Enderman stare sound, and sometimes you could hear this when you haven't even provoked an Enderman. It's another bug that's been fixed. Sometimes when an Enderman teleports, the client, that being your game, and the server pick a different destination, so you might have seen particles go off in one way, yet the Enderman goes in another direction. That shouldn't happen on servers anymore. And Endermen have been known to teleport into water when they are dodging a projectile. So there was some sort of check for water they're missing. Now if you shoot at them, they won't teleport into water. We've all died a lot of times in Minecraft, and we've probably seen this screen where the world fails to load, and what it should look like is a world that's actually loaded behind the death screen. You may have also seen this screen shake a little bit as well. Those two bugs have been fixed. You should now be able to see the world when you die. So previously the pumpkin and the carved pumpkin had been separated from one another, and this meant that you could actually enchant a pumpkin, but not a carved pumpkin, the one that you could actually put on your head. It's been swapped around, so now the carved pumpkin is the one you can add enchantments to. And last but certainly not least, the Ravager had an AI issue where if a patrol came by that the Ravager wasn't originally a part of, it could mess with its AI and it would try and follow the patrol or head to a particular location. This ruined Cub fans minigame on Hermitcraft Ravager Run, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm very happy for Cub because now this one's been fixed. There were a few other bug fixes, but these were the most important ones to talk about in my opinion, and so we reached the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it, then leave a like, and be sure to go and check out my 1 million subscriber special video if you want to see what that's about. It'll be linked in the description box down below. That is it from me, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!